Hello, back again to go over tasks 1 through 3 of your The Island assignment that you will be completing here for the final 2 weeks of the school year. Uh, First off, I hope the entire goal of this is for you to have fun, do a little bit of learning at the same time, and kind of show off the skills that you've learned this school year. Um, it's also another goal is also for you to be creative. Okay, you have to understand that though there are some requirements to this, the whole goal is for you to make it your own. Okay, this is your story, your project. Get your creative juices flowing as you complete this. Okay, and there should be a lot of different of the tasks or things that you do for this assignment to allow you to be creative. Okay, and like I might have said this before in a different video, but it's kind of cool that you are doing this without seeing what a lot of your other classmates are doing. Okay, sometimes we see what other people do and we kind of want to follow along with them. This is yours. Make it yours. Make it fun for you. Okay, so I want to go over task 1, 2, and 3 here. Before you do any of the tasks, my suggestion would be to look at what the directions for the task are in your instruction booklet. Okay, and this one is the smaller one, not quite as thick. It's the portrait style one. So I'm turning to the second page, and at the start of the second page, you'll see there are directions for each one of the tasks that you have to do. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read the directions for task 1. And task 1 is your journal cover. It says, create a journal cover for your adventure. Look through the assignments and use this cover to add details that can foreshadow what the adventure is about. Okay? Now, a couple things there. Do you see the word foreshadow? So, foreshadow is something that you might write or do early on in a story that gives clues to the reader what will eventually happen. Sometimes the reader will recognize the foreshadowing that is provided, other times they might not. But there are clues that are given early that might tell the reader what could happen next. So what that means is you might include some images on your cover that maybe would give clues as to what's going to happen later on in your journal. Okay? So next thing I want to do, each one of your tasks also, so this is your other packet, I guess you could say. This one's a lot thicker, but I do want to just, so you know, all the other packets that we've done have been double-sided. This one is only on the front side, so it's not like it's double-sided or anything, so it looks like a lot, but it's not as much as what it looks. But anyways, the tasks off to the side here for each one, it's going to give you directions what to do. So after you look for the directions in the guide or the instruction manual, also look at the directions off here and try to help you, and then kind of combine those ideas together. So I'm going to go ahead and read the directions for task 1 on your journal. Okay, so it says, every adventurer needs a journal or diary. This will be the cover to your own personal journal. Take time to decorate, design, or create a simple cover of your choosing. Now, there are words like decorate and design, and that means be creative, okay? Make this yours. What would you want the cover of this journal to be like if you were doing this, okay? Make it interesting, make it fun, make it yours, all right? It also says create a simple cover. A lot of you have shown me that you are extremely artistic, okay? With your drawing skills, with tracing skills. There are several of you that have shown me that you are really, really good at that kind of thing. So, use those skills for this. Now, if you're one of those people that's not quite as good, me personally, I'm not the greatest at artistic things, specifically drawing, okay? It also says create a simple cover, okay? So if you're not an expert on that, or it's not one of the things that you're best at least make sure that you put forth effort and you do what the directions say, okay? There are a couple other things here at the very bottom, okay? Make sure you take note of that. It says remember to add your name somewhere on the cover. That way we know this is your journal. Okay, so make sure you put your name somewhere on the cover. Uh, Now, going back to the directions earlier, it said to foreshadow. So I think what a good thing to do before you make your cover would be is to go forward to task 10. Task 10 is where you're going to write your journal entries about what happened when you're on this island, okay? And for each one of those 10 entries, there is a specific topic that goes with the entry that you're supposed to try to build your journal off of, okay? So I would check those out, which I'm going to do here in a second, and that'll give you an idea of what your adventure might be like, what kind of things you might have happen during your adventure, and then that might give you some ideas as for what to draw on your cover. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up to task 10, and there are 10 pages for task 10 because there's 10 different journal entries that you need to do for this project. Okay, so here's what task 10 looks like. You'll see there are the directions over here, but each one of these tasks in bold has a specific topic that goes with it that you're supposed to build your journal entry off of, okay? So I'm going to go through those real quick, and as I go through those, kind of think of some ideas as I go through those of what you could have happen on your adventure to this island, and then what you could write about in your journal, okay? So here's what they are. Journal entry 1 is setting foot on the island for the first time. So what would you think about, what could that be like when you set your foot on this island that's inhabited by dinosaurs and other prehistoric animals the first time? What might that be like? You know, go back to when we did our setting activity early on in the year where I gave you a picture and you had to think of all the 5 senses that you could use to describe what that picture was like, okay? That's what you might want to do here. What would that be like? What would you imagine setting foot on an island like that would be like? Okay. What are some of the things you might feel, hear, smell, even taste and whatnot? Okay. So think about what that would be like. The next one is the first time you saw a dinosaur. Okay, so that's what your next journal will be about. So think about how you could describe that. Next one of your crew members goes missing. That's pretty open-ended. You could think of a lot of different ways on an island inhabited by prehistoric dinosaurs that someone could go missing. And, maybe, you can do all kinds of stuff right there. Be very creative. Next one, the chase is on. So maybe you are being chased, or maybe you are chasing something else. The next one is reaching the main complex. So the main complex would be like the headquarters of the island. And remember, this used to be like a park that was going to be open to people to see the dinosaurs, okay? So what do you think might be in that complex? Why might reaching that headquarters be important for you? Those are all things you could think about. What might this headquarters or complex have in it that might help you? The next one is we are being hunted. All kinds of different things you could go with on that. Next one, task 10. This wasn't an accident. A lot of different things you could do there too. If it wasn't an accident, that means something had to have happened that you think was meant to happen or someone tried to have happen that maybe someone could have framed as something happening accidentally. Next one, through the jungle. So it sounds like you're making your journey through the jungle somewhere. Next one, a surprise discovery. So that could be maybe a positive thing. Maybe it could be a negative thing. And I think this is the last one. are we ever coming back? Okay, so those are the prompts or the topics that you're supposed to write in your journals about. Now remember, you could take those in any direction that you want. This is your story. You can have happen whatever you want to have happen. Okay, be creative, be original. Okay, but using those prompts might give you an idea of how you want to kind of have this happen. And it might give you some ideas for how to foreshadow some of those things on your opening cover of your journal. Um, it's a lot of it's really left up to you. Okay, so be creative, be original, and do the best that you can do on that. And if you're someone who's really artistic, go all out on it. Then I'm gonna move on and go over task 2. Okay, so again, the first thing that we should do is look at the directions on our instruction manual. Okay, so here's what the directions say for task 2. And task 2 is called the contract. Okay, now actually there's 2 tasks that are called the contract. This is just the first one. But task 2 says, read the top secret contract. As you read, underline important information that you learn about this mission. Then B, then on the task 2 paper, add bullets with predictions and questions you have for Pre-H Park Corporation. Okay, so the first part of that was to read the secret top contract. Now that, or the top secret contract, my bad, that is in your instruction manual. So if you turn back a few more pages here, you'll see where it says top secret. And it says property of the government. So you have inquired about taking on this task of going to this island, okay? And the only people that know about this document are this government organization, this Pre-H corporation, and you, okay? And no one else knows anything about it. If you look under task 2, and I accidentally just ripped mine, but it says, well, I'll go over those directions too. Okay, it says, in the information packet is a file titled Top Secret, the one I just showed you. Inside are documents about an operation taking place on an island in the Pacific. So that's what the next 2 pages are, okay? So here are your documents, the top secret documents, okay? Your objective for this task 2, on this journal page, take notes, that's why it said to underline anything important, make predictions, and ask questions you have based on the information in those documents. So this corporation has asked you if you would be interested in going to this island to learn more about the dinosaurs that are now there and just, what may have happened previously, okay? It says then, use information gained from the government files to predict exactly what has happened at the research facility and park, maybe in the past. And it says, reminder, journaling can be quick notes, scribbles, or even drawings. So on here is kind of like the notes. You're writing down the notes from this top secret document that say if you were going into a meeting to sign up for this adventure, what notes would you want to remember about this document? Or what questions would you have for the group that's kind of hiring you to do this? Okay? So pretend you're like going into a meeting to talk to them about it. What are some things you'd want to remember from this document? And what are maybe some questions you would have for them? Okay? So next what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and read this top secret document. Now if you look here, it also says property of the government on this, okay? And you'll also see that there are some words that have been crossed out so that you can't read them. So you might think about, why would someone have crossed out these words, okay? Now, honestly, even though they are crossed off, you can probably still kind of figure out what they say. They didn't do a very good job of making it completely invisible for you. Okay, so that might be another thing you want to check out. What kind of information did they put there that they crossed off, and why would they have crossed that information off? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this very quickly here. Okay, so this is the top secret information that you've been given by this corporation from the government. Okay, and it starts like this. My slippers keep falling off. 25 years ago, a group of scientists and billionaires tried to recreate the prehistoric dinosaur age on an island in the Pacific. Their goal was to bring dinosaurs back from extinction and create a place where humans could see them. Okay, and then you see there's a little part that's crossed off, so you can't see what it says. Next paragraph. After years of work and millions of dollars spent, all the scientists left the project, more crossed off. The billionaires have quietly continued to fund this project, but they've run into some issues. Many of the issues they've dealt with were solved with large sums of money paid out. And you see there's more crossed off, and it says paid out to family, and then it says that we're working on the island, but there's something crossed off there. Next paragraph. These billionaires have not been to the island in over 3 years, so it's been a while, and are looking to see what kind of shape the park island is in. So, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen here in the spring how much all these plants and things grow. No one's seen all these dinosaurs in 3 years, so they've probably reproduced, and maybe there's more dinosaurs there than there were before. They want to know what kind of shape the island is in. Then you see that there is something crossed off again. After that, it says, they are looking for someone to make the trip to the island, record any information, and find out about the dinosaurs. So that is you, okay? You're the person that they are hoping is going to make the trip to this island and record all this information, okay? Next paragraph. Currently, no individuals have been authorized to make the trip to the island. I mean, they haven't really been allowed yet. But there have been rumors of a small group that will make the attempt. So you are going to be part of that small group. Okay. Then you see there's more crossed off. The billionaires have offered a large amount of money, in the millions, for individuals that can relay information back to them. So all you would have to do is go to this island, do some research, see what it's like at this point in time, and they're offering millions of dollars for someone to do that. So it sounds kind of like a pretty good deal if you can be successful doing it. Next paragraph, next page actually. 15 years ago, one of the scientists met with and it's crossed off, to update him on the dinosaurs that were currently living on the island. That was 15 years ago. That's quite a while. Species included, but not limited to Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus rex, Brontosaurus, Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, Allosaurus, Suchomimus, I'm not sure how to say that one, and Plateosaurus. As of now, they have successfully bred 25 types of dinosaurs, and that was 15 years ago. There were also rumors that the scientists were working on breeding a Smilodon, or saber-toothed tiger, the giant sloth, mammoths, think about the woolly mammoths that have been extinct, entelodons, which are giant pigs, and the giant short-faced bear. And it says it could grow to be almost 14 feet tall. That is a tall bear. Okay, so those are other types of animals that they've been breeding as well that are now extinct. Next paragraph. The island/park should not be compared to the problems that occurred on the island in South America. Now, if you've seen the movies, the Jurassic Park movies, you know that Jurassic Park was in an island in South America. So what they're saying here is that their island that they're creating now in the Pacific is much better than the one that failed in South America, or in other words, Jurassic Park. It says, that was the work of amateurs, or people that didn't know what they were doing, compared to this operation in financial banking. So it's, or backing, I'm saying, sorry. So this operation that you'd be a part of, they say is a lot better because it has a lot more financial backing behind it, meaning they have money to spend to make this one work. Then you'll see there's more crossed off. You might be able to read what that says though if you look carefully. But it says, based on information that has been shared with him. In the last paragraph. Based on information provided to, that's crossed off, security began to be an issue, and scientists began to worry that the animals' population was rising too quickly. So more and more animals were being born, and the population was growing. Then you see there's more crossed off. It says questions still remain by many involved. Those with a financial stake still want to see the results. The island itself is a mystery, supposedly filled with billion-dollar equipment and facilities, along with the prehistoric animals and dinosaurs. Okay, so that's kind of like the mission that you would have. Okay, so then so on your task 2, then you want to think about any key details that you learned by reading this top secret file, and you might want to jot those down here. So anything important that you noticed. And also, what questions would you have before you accepted this contract to be one of the people in this group to go and do research on this island? So then that moves us on to task 3. Okay, and task 3 is the contract. Now, for the purpose of this assignment, we're going to pretend that you have accepted this contract, that you have said, I will go ahead and do this adventure task. But anyways, if we look back at our instruction booklet, here are the directions for task 3. It says, read over the official contract, which is right in here where it says task 3. Print your name on the top 3 lines, then sign your name and write the date at the bottom of the contract. By signing this contract, you are agreeing to follow the regulations of the contract. So that's what a contract is. As you get older, you're probably going to have to fill out contracts. Most people who have jobs, okay, they fill out a contract. Like I have to fill out a contract to be a teacher, stating, different things about my job that I understand that's how they are and that's how they will be. So if I want to come back and say, oh, it should be this way, I can't because I already signed the contract based on how it was. That's the same with like a loan. Okay, so if you want to buy something and you can't pay for it all yet, but you're agreeing to pay for it a little bit every so often through the years, you have to sign a contract saying that I will be able to pay this amount of money while this loan is going on. So it's pretty much you saying, I agree that I will do these things. Okay? That's what a contract is. Now I'll go ahead and read the directions on the page. It says, it looks like you've taken on the task of figuring out what happened on the island, so you have agreed that you're going to do this. Pre-H Park Corporation is paying you quite a bit of money for your work, in the millions. Okay? Those rules in the contract seem pretty intense. Complete confidentiality, even if something happens to your crew. So confidentiality means you are going to tell no one about anything. So even when you're on, and even though you've seen how the island is, or you've experienced how the island is, once you leave that island, you are not allowed to tell anyone about what was there. Okay, since it's a top kind of secret government program right now. Okay, now here's the objective. Here's what it says. Before you sign your contract, be sure to consider the following. And this is something you should always do. You should never just sign a contract. You should always read it through to make sure you agree with what it says. So here's what it says. Why would Pre-H Park Corporation be so concerned with a complete confidentiality agreement that they would make it mandatory? So why would they care so much to tell you that you can't spill the beans? You can't tell anything about what you've seen or what you've experienced. Why would they want you to do that? Next one. Does that concern you? Then, do you understand every part of the contract that you've signed? That's what you should always do before you sign one. And then lastly, do you think this expedition is dangerous? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and read this official contract here. And then by writing your names on these lines and then signing it at the bottom and dating it, you're saying that you agree to follow these expectations. Okay. The first one says, I, and then a blank for your name, hereby certify with Pre-H Park Corporation that I am accepting their monetary offer of $5 million in exchange for finding and delivering information deemed critical for them to better understand what happened at one of their facilities. So you are agreeing, along with them, that they are going to pay you $5 million for doing this task or adventure. Okay? But it also says in exchange for delivering information deemed critical for them to better understand. So you, in order to get that $5 million, you need to deliver that key information to them. Okay? The next one, I, and then a blank for your name, have waived any legal rights in the case that I or my group is harmed during travel and or during the duration of this mission. This includes any accidents both in mechanical and or animalistic nature. In the case of any accidents, Pre-H Park Corporation will pay for all medical bills, insurance, and compensate families appropriately without retribution from those affected. So pretty much what that's saying is if something were to happen to you on the island, that you might be injured severely or die or anything like that, this company has agreed to pay for anything to help you out in that situation, but you can't go back at them any more than that. Okay, like you can't sue them, I guess is what you're saying. They're saying, okay. So they'll help you if you are harmed or injured, or they'll help your family out if you are killed to pay for those costs that would be there. Okay. Next one, I, then your name, cannot share the details of this mission to anyone outside of the individuals involved in the head of Pre-H Park Corporation, co-presidents. If information is shared or leaked to the public, it will result in a loss of the $5 million, which shall be paid in full after the completion of said mission. So you do this mission, you would get $5 million, but if for some reason someone would tell what you saw to someone out in the world and that information spreads all over the place, they will not pay you. You have to keep that information confidential, meaning it cannot be spread. Okay? Then at the bottom, you'd have to sign your name and then date it. So that would confirm that you agree to the information in this document. Now, obviously, this isn't real, okay? But it is a good lesson that when, later in your life, if you do have to sign a contract for something, you have to really be careful with what the contract says and make sure that's agreeable to you, okay? So those are tasks 1 through 3. I will do more videos with the other tasks to try to help you explain those as well. But I hope this is something that you'll have a lot of fun with. That was the goal, okay? Make it your own and, do the best you can and just enjoy it, okay?